going on? It's Matt Scurfield here from the Gary Chaffee Band and Center Street Drum School. I wanted to chat with you guys today about some linear development ideas. Taking ideas out of this book, The Time Functioning Patterns by Gary Chaffee. All right, we're going to take some 16th notes and we're going to develop some groupings found in this section, page 44. If you don't have this book, highly recommend you get it. We're going to take a combination of groupings of 5, 3, all right, meaning one measure of 16th notes divided up into chunks of 5 and 3. So we're going to play 4 notes with our hands, 1 with our foot, and then 2 notes with our hands and 1 with our foot. So 4 and 1 makes 5, and then 2 and 1 makes 3. And if we repeat that twice, we get one measure of 16th notes. I want to show you how to develop that around the kit using different dynamics and orchestrations. Start out by getting real comfortable with the 16th note pattern with your hands and the kick drum. Get relaxed with it, feel comfortable with it before you try to move it around different things. I'll show you how I want to move it as we go. Start it up like this. Alright, that's step 1. Step 2, we're going to move the right hand over to the hi-hat. Okay? And at the same time, we're going to ghost note the left hand on the snare. You can play as softly as you can, about 2 inches off the drum. It's got to be real soft. Keep it nice and low. Stay, 9 to 12 inches on the right hand, as an accent. Here we go. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to develop some accents using the right hand. We're going to be bringing the right hand from the hi-hat back to the snare drum, playing a rim shot, so we have a much bigger dynamic range between the right hand and the left hand. So I'm going to start by playing the and of 1 as an accent. Okay, so the group of 5 is now going to turn into this. Okay, so we're going to go from the hi-hat with the right to the snare and then to the kick. Finish the pattern and then repeat for the second half. So that's one accent possibility. Alright? Another accent possibility is you could put the right hand in between in the group of 3. Alright? So the right hand is going to start on the snare at the beginning of the group of 3. Alright? Which actually ends up as the E of 2. So we're going to go, just keep the right hand on the hi-hat for the group of 5 and then come over for the group of 3 with a rim shot, like this. Let's try to develop an accent with the left hand on the of 1. It's going to be the last note in the group of 5 before the bass drum, so it's actually the 4th note in the group of 5. Left hand accents before the bass drum comes in. Sounds like this. So those are 3 accent possibilities that you can use to develop this linear pattern. You can start to mix up those different accents, use one on the first half and a different one on the second half. So if I use the of 1 on the first half and the and of 3 on the second half, it'll be a left hand accent and then a right hand accent. So the first one. So you can mix them up. Use your imagination, try different accent patterns. You come up with a million different ways to play the same groove. It'll start to sound different every time you move the accent around. Now let's get into developing some different kinds of things you can do with these patterns to make them sound more interesting. One of the things I like to do is to play both hands on the hi-hat rather than keeping the left hand on the snare and mixed up between the hi-hats. So both hands over here now. We're going to play the same pattern that we played originally, just the 5-3. Okay, now if we add our accents back in, we get the and of 1 and the and of 3. The right hand comes to the snare drum, in between. Sounds like this. Okay, the other accent that I tried was the one on the E of 2 and the E of 4, which is the beginning of the group of 3. Sounds like this. We could do the of 1 and the of 3 with the left hand. Sounds like this. Again, you can mix those up. I'll do the and the and. Let's try moving the right hand over to the ride cymbal, playing the same pattern. So again, if I just play the 5-3 without any accents on the snare drum, it sounds like this. If I do the and of 1 and the and of 3, it sounds like this. If I do the E of 2 and the E of 4, the beginning of the group of 3, it sounds like this. I can do the of 1 with the left hand coming from the hi-hat to the snare drum. It sounds like this. Again, mixing those up. Now we're going to try and develop some double strokes on the hi-hat. Taking some of our singles, we turn them into doubles, create a 5-stroke roll at the beginning of our group of 5. So we're going from the hi-hat to the snare, double stroking, and then the right hand accents on the and of 1 and also on the and of 3. It's going to sound like this. Alright, sounds cool. The other one you can do, I like with the accent on the of 1, you're going to be playing a 5-stroke roll, starting out with the first 2, finishing on the hi-hat, bringing in the left hand for the accent on the of 1, right before the bass drum comes in on 2. If you want to get crazy with it, you could try it on the, splitting it up between the ride cymbal and the hi-hat. It sounds like this. Let's try developing the linear pattern, going from a groove back into the linear pattern and back in and out again. You'll notice that each linear pattern doesn't start with a kick drum on the 1, so it doesn't have that kind of funk vibe that everyone's looking for, the downbeat of 1. So, if we go from a straight 4 groove into the linear pattern and back and forth, it sounds kind of cool. So I'm going to do a few of the orchestrations that I've shown you already in between some basic straight grooves. Sounds like this.